Alright, hey there, guys. Today, because I'm fucking late getting a video out, we are going to start a new series. Going along with what I've been doing, Warhammer stuff, more Warhammer stuff. That's right. We're having a division takeover, but instead of me just playing the division for 3 months straight, making a video every day, we're gonna be doing Warhammer now. So that's where I'm at right now. These videos, there's going to be 19 of them. Yeah. We're going to be covering the Primarchs and their legions. Legions, not the chapters, because fuck those things. Not really. I play a lot of fucking 40k, but we're going to be doing heresy stuff right now because heresy is the shit. So, speaking of heresy, we're going to start with the Dark Angels. Because, as Smitty Werbin Jagerman Jensen says, they were number one. Alright, so, fucking Dark Angels. Literally the first Legion. First 5,000 aspirants on Terra were chosen for the Dark Angels because, you gotta do shit in numerical order, otherwise all fucking shit breaks down. Now, Lionel Johnson wasn't found for a little while. I think that I can't remember like specific dates how long it was into the Great Crusade, but the Dark Angels had a command structure and were at least 50,000 strong. I want to say maybe 40,000, but I'm gonna go ahead and say 50-ish, 50k. So fucking Dark Angels. They've got that knight aesthetic, and when I say knight, I mean like fucking medieval knight, which is cool. Let me say that right now. It's a cool aesthetic to have. Being a fucking knight. They have Lionel Johnson was a literal fucking knight. He was a knight of the order, which was, the main body of knights on a planet dominated by knights. So, that's something. In fact, he was leader of the order after a certain point. Once his fucking adopted daddy Luther was outshone by Lionel Johnson when he just, fucking walked into the forest and killed an animal that nobody's seen like forever. But like, and I'm of course referring to the Calibanite lion, which is, how he got his cool ass name of the lion, Lionel Johnson. But, amongst all of these seeming accomplishments, one major problem remains. Everything on Caliban, which is the Night homeworld, the Dark Angel homeworld, every fucking animal there is a chaos tainted warp beast, a la Warhammer Fantasy coming out of the fucking polar gates. So, and it's not actually. I mean, it's hinted that there are polar warp rifts on Caliban. In I want to say Descent of Angels, and Zahariel and the rest of them, when they go and kill the Wolf Knights, they find a bunch of crazy shit there, and they kill a bunch of the fucking warp beasts because the Wolf Knights were keeping them alive for posterity or some shit, because the main overarching goal of the orders was to keep people safe from these beasts that just came out of the fucking huge ass forests that sat there and reclaimed their land like overnight if they were cut down, and exterminate these fuckers so that they didn't get murdered by them. So for the longest time, these guys were just surviving. And then the lion comes and makes it cool to start, waging genocidal campaigns against these beasts to wipe them out permanently. Of course, this kind of ruins the whole, we're going to be cool guys doing cool things, killing warp beasts, because fuck, dude, it's kind of hard to kill warp beasts if they're all already dead. I don't know how that guy killed me. So the Wolf Knights were having a problem with that. Luther was kind of having a problem with that. He didn't really vocalize this opinion though, because when you're clearing a planet full of dangerous warp animals, you don't want to be on the side that's, you know, conservation or ecological protection or some shit like that. Like, honestly. So that brings us to right after he fucking exterminates the last of the warp beasts, as, you know, so they say. I don't really, you know, trust that shit. But, so they exterminate the rest of these warp beasts. And then the fucking Emperor just, you know, arrives out of nowhere with the fucking First Legion. Pure happenstance. He just happens to have the First Legion with him. So these fucks go, grab Lion, tell him to get his ass on the road, and then he turns his adopted daddy into a fucking miniature marine. Like, okay, he did the same shit that fucking Lorgar did with Corferon, which, you know, we'll get into later, but basically he's middle ground between a marine and a human, but closer to a marine. So having secured his legionaries, having basically set his shit together so that he could leave, they all leave. They go on crusade. They have a nice grand old time of it, up until when they get to a planet that is stalling. Now, this planet is, I can't fucking remember. I read Descent of Angels like months ago, and I have no fucking idea what the names of these planets are anymore. So basically, this fucking planet decides to go and attempt an assassination of the Lion and his entire command structure by getting a fucking nuclear device on board the fucking I think he's got a Gloriana class battle cruiser, and just, you know, saying fuck it. Let's do this shit. So these guys are fucking causing problems left and right. You know? They're attempting to assassinate the fuck out of the Lion. They're doing a halfway decent job of it, to be honest with you. And then, you know, Luther and Zahariel, which is a name that comes up again, they know about it. And until Zahariel fucking tells them to do this shit, they don't do anything about it for like hours. They just kind of wait. They just kind of wait to see what happens. So, following this enormous amount of bullshit, you know, from Luther, hilariously trying to murder his own father, or his son? It's something, dude. So they have a whole fucking problem here. Everything's going wrong. The Lion is fucking pissed, alright? So he's just been made aware that a fucking nuke has been aboard his ship for hours, and his own adopted father did nothing to tell him about it. He just kind of, you know, ignored it and hoped that it would kill him. So that's fucked up. But even more fucked up than that is that the Lion, you know, doesn't fucking censure them. He just says, alright, go train the new recruits. And he does it. So fully half the Legion-ish, most of them Terrans, because, you know, he figures, the Terrans are failing me, I'm sending them home with fucking Luther, even though it's fucking Zahariel and Luther that are the main collaborators in this plot to just let him die off. He sends like a shit ton of Terrans, like almost all of them, to go fucking back to the planet, right? And following this, they all fucking die, right? They're all fucking done. Just kidding. Nobody dies. But whatever. So clearly we have established, and I've been fucking rambling because I was focusing on my fucking tank. We've established that not only do the Dark Angels fucking can't even stay together for themselves or their Primarch, which is absolutely hilarious. But they're also already traitors. So anyway, they go home. There's a bunch of, fucking problems. Garviel Loken shows up with Yakton Cruz, and they start some shit by accident, trying to gauge whether or not the Dark Angels are loyalists. He accidentally makes him question whether he's a loyalist or not. Surprise, surprise, Luther's not a loyalist. So, Loken realizes he's massively fucked up, tries to leave. Yakton myrtleizes the Dark Angel for the fucking hell of it on Caliban. For no reason, despite, supposedly being the cooler head here. So, Yakton Cruz just, fucking murders the dude. And after the failings of Loken to gauge whether or not friend or foe they are, he just, figures he's failed at that point. Which he has. So, then there's a bit of an uprising by some of the Terran Dark Angels. They fear Luther has overstepped his authority. They feel that he is no longer serving the Emperor. And they go to the previous chapter master, Astalan, and tell him about these feelings that they're having. Which, was not the greatest idea, because Astalan is buddy-buddy with Luther. They don't know this, but he is. He's a loyal Dark Angel. And whatever that's worth. Not a lot, but whatever. So, he basically fucking coup d'etats the coup before the coup can coup d'etat Luther. If that makes any sense at all. Hilariously, they're all marched off into like some sort of prison camp or some shit. I don't remember. It's the whole fucking thing. So having literally stopped the only thing that would have kept the Dark Angels loyal, which was, the coup d'etat, removing Luther from his position as Grand Master of the chapter of the Dark Angels that are stationed there, which is like 20,000 dudes. Like, fuck tons. Like, literally a ridiculous amount of them. Like, over half of the actual Marines stationed there were against Luther, and he just had them all rounded up. So, in case you were wondering, that is a good indicator of whether or not there could be actually loyalist fallen angels, which is, to me, the answer is always yes. But, whatever. We have actual fucking basis for that guess now. So, during all of that shit, the Lion has been playing hide and seek with his buddy Conrad Kurz. Now, Conrad's a sick fuck, and we'll talk about him in his video, but fucking the Lion just, he's playing hide and seek with Conrad. Realizes that nothing he does will ever be able to catch Conrad because he's a fuck up. So Conrad realizes this too, being a theatrical little bitch, invites the Dark Angels Primarch to visit with him on Sigwalsa. His fucking fortress world that he's building. Well, it's not really a fortress, it's more of an abattoir with walls, but anyway, so they get there, fucking Sevatar and Mag. He's got an M name. I can't for the life of me remember what it is, but he's got an M name. Magarin. some shit like that. So he and Sevatar are the Lions, or the fucking the Lions, the Conrad's bodyguards. The Lions bodyguards are a guy named Corswain and some A name, I can't remember. The A dude dies. He's the captain of the Fellowship. Corswain is the champion of the Ninth or whatever, the Ninth Company, some shit like that. Anyway, so fucking A dude gets. He had his face cut off by Sevatar earlier in the fucking campaign, the Thermos Crusade. And then here, Sevatar just, fucking ends him. Because nobody gets away from him twice. So, after that, fucking shit happens, I guess. Eventually, Conrad's captured. Jago Sevatarian, or Sevatar, has been captured. Sevatar has a whole mess happen to him where he thinks that, or where he's a psyker now. All of a sudden, Conrad has the ability to seal psyker gifts or something. I don't know. It's a little unclear as to why exactly this is a thing. But he takes the time to reconnect with his powers and has a little conversation with an astropath girl in the Dark Angel's service. And basically, by talking to him, they beat her senseless or some shit, make her paralyzed for whatever the fuck reason. Something stupid, I guess. And he kills the astropathic lord, commander, whatever, the choir master. He kills the choir master on the ship because he fucking ordered this shit. And then proceeds to surrender. Ha ha ha. He's actually doing his job of being the justice dude of the Imperium. Wow, good job, good guy Sevatar. Woo, you did one good thing, even though you're wearing a cloak full of fucking Dark Angel skin. Good job. So, finally, Lionel Johnson realizes that he needs more dudes. He goes back to Caliban after Imperium Secundus. I'm going to talk about that with Gilliman's. I'm not going to fucking bother with that right now. We're already like fucking way over. I meant for this to be like a 5-minute thing. So, Lion goes back to Caliban, realizing bullshit. He wants to, fucking rebuild his legion. Sees that the whole planet's on a war footing. Astalan or some other dipshit, I can't remember which, immediately begins firing on the Dark Angel's fleet, citing that they didn't know if they were loyal or traitors. Hilarious, coming from a Dark Angel. It culminates in an exterminatus regime issued by the Lion and put forth by his cruisers to murderize all of these heretics and traitors. So the Lion goes down and fights Luther in single combat. Luther has the upper hand because he's been warp tainted, according to the Dark Angels chapter. And then he has some sort of problem with killing him all of a sudden. And he fucking lets the Lion end him, or, strike a final blow or some shit, whatever. It doesn't have to make sense, they're Dark Angels. So, they get that shit done, right? Everything is fine for a while, then they realize that a fucking warp rift is opening on Caliban as it's dying. Now, this is pretty obviously warp shenanigans, because it sucks in all of the traitor Dark Angels and throws them through warp time all over the place and all over time, which is absolutely hilarious. So, now having what are considered traitors once again, for the Dark Angels. All of them are traitors. Now fucking having considerable amounts of traitor Astartes wandering the fucking galaxy is not a good thing. So the final thing I'm going to talk about is a little bit about what the Dark Angels are up to now. They're really fucking emo. They call themselves the Unforgiven, and that includes the Dark Angels main chapter, and then the radiating successor chapters due to the Codex Astartes breaking the legions up. They're all collectively known as the Unforgiven. They're basically a legion still because the Dark Angels Grandmaster, Azrael, is in charge of all of them throughout all the successor chapters. He is in charge, so he can basically order them all around if he wants to, because they're fucking heretics. So, their main course of action over the last 10,000 years has been to occasionally assist the Imperium with their fucking problems, and for the most part, try and find all the traitors, which is slightly harder than they thought it would be. So, trying to find all these traitors is like, you know, trying to find a needle in a stack of needles that's surrounded by needles. Because the Dark Angels themselves are traitors. Because reason... I don't know. Basically, it's pointless to try to determine which one of them is traitors, because Cypher is a traitor, if that makes sense. He's a fallen angel, but I would consider him better than the Dark Angels, you know? Anyway, so we got Cypher as the only redeemable Dark Angel, actively trying to take the Sword of the Lion, get it reforged at the Emperor's knee, and thus attain forgiveness for the entirety of the Dark Angels for their transgressions during the heresy. That being said, nobody wants to really help him, because all the Dark Angels want to do is capture, interrogate, and then murderize all of the fallen angels they can find. Which is hilarious and kind of sad. So, the only other thing of note of the 41st Millennium Dark Angels is that they are the only other chapter that has a confirmed living Primarch. The other chapter that has a confirmed living Primarch is obviously Guilliman of the Ultramarines. And the only reason that we know that Lionel Johnson is alive is because the Watchers stuck him in a fucking box inside the rock for eternity or some shit. So, he's in there sleeping. Luther is also still alive for whatever goddamn reason, inside the rock. Not as deep, but still in there. It's thought that maybe Luther knows where the lion is inside the rock, but considering that the Watchers in the Dark are the ones who put him in there, I would say that is probably not true. If anything, Zahariel would be the one to know, because Zahariel seems to be talking to the Watchers in the Dark, which are, by the way, an unknown species. Nobody knows what the fuck they are. Probably warp creatures, though. And they just, you know, fucking use them as arming servants. Like, fucking Azrael has the one handing him his fucking sword or his helm or some shit. Anyway, that's basically it, guys. Their last, you know, known fucking campaign was when they tried to murder the Space Wolves out of, you know, existence. Also fucking hilarious. So, if you guys enjoyed this and want to see the next videos, please let me know. Probably, today's Thursday, right? Probably Saturday I'll be dropping the Emperor's Children video, which will be even more hilarious than this one. I'll see you guys then.